I went to Madrid.
So I did a summer study abroad in Italy, in Bologna, and then I did my fall semester in Bonn, Germany.
I went to Madrid, Spain.
I went to Bonn, Germany.
Honestly, and I know this is like, because it was our first trip ever, but my favorite was San Sebastian. Like it was the first trip like anyone went on. And it was like to the north of Spain, and it was just like so nice because I mean, I know it's like a good problem to have, but I feel like every weekend you're just traveling like a lot and it just feels like you're like going, whereas like San Sebastian was like, it felt like an actual vacation.
When I went to Germany, the program for film and television production is that you go there to make a documentary. And so I made a documentary about domestic violence, which is something that's like really important to me. And while I was there, at the end of the program, they screen all of our films for judges, and they pick 6 films to be screened at a movie theater where all of the LMU students that are there come, as well as like some people from the community. And mine was chosen, and it got on that screen, and I started crying for the entire screening, as well as when I did my speech at the end. They give me like a cute little fake Oscar trophy.
One of my favorites was actually in Budapest, which I visited like a week and a half into the program. It was like a long weekend, and I went with some friends. And it was like a Saturday night or something, and it was pouring rain out, and which we were kind of mad about because it was like our first night out. We didn't really want to waste it. So we were caught between like, do we stay in or do we go out? And so we decided to, and the closest club was like, you know, maybe like a 10-minute walk. So we couldn't really like, and there was no like Uber or anything. So we decided to just run through the rain, even though we didn't have any rain jackets or anything. So it was kind of, and then we walked into this club like soaking wet. So there was something kind of like bonding about that. It was pretty fun.
Even in like downtown, like very busy, like there are places where like no one speaks English, which I didn't expect that much, so it just made, but honestly it like made learning Spanish like that much more easier because you had to.
You all of a sudden be surrounded by people that didn't speak my language, but also Italy is one of those places where it's so very Italian. They don't have a lot of influences from other cultures. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're eating Italian food. There are not really many restaurants that serve other food other than Italian, and everyone you're surrounded by is Italian and, quite frankly, white. So that was really weird coming from a place like LA that's a melting pot of diversity, and all of a sudden I don't get to decide if I want Thai food for lunch and then Mexican for dinner. It's just Italian.
Probably language. That was like my biggest struggle, I would say. I'm a Spanish major, but I've never lived in a country where that is like the only language being spoken, and so it's just a shock that like everyone around me was speaking Spanish just because like I've never experienced that before.
I don't know, as much as I like loved Madrid and I made some like amazing friends there, like I was like very ready to come back, and now that I am back, like I'm really happy to be here. Like, I don't know, it sounds weird, I don't know, like I don't miss Madrid too much, like I had a great time, but like I love my like life and routine here.
It feels very comfortable is one big thing. Like it's nice to be back in a place where everything's kind of how I'm used to. I miss Mexican food so much. Like I did not know how to live without it abroad. So it's really nice to be back at a place where I can choose whatever foods I want to eat, and I can be surrounded by people from different backgrounds, different ideas, different cultures. It's nice to come home to that, but I still definitely have a great appreciation for getting understanding of what it's like on the outside. Because even though LA is very diverse, you don't get a lot of diversity in politics and social ideas a lot of the time. So that's something that I really liked about going abroad is to hear about that, hear about different ways of living your life.
I would say the first couple of days just on campus, I felt like a little out of place, just like I hadn't been around everybody in a while and like just trying to like get familiar again. But it is actually super nice to be in America where I just like know what's going on all the time, and like you're just not as confused, I would say. It's kind of like comfortable.
It feels a little weird for me because this is my first semester and time like off campus, like living off campus. So it's it's kind of surreal in the way that like I don't feel like I'm actually at LMU anymore. It doesn't feel like LMU is like it's kind of in my peripheral, even though like I'm going to class and all that stuff. It's like I feel like I'm just living in LA and I happen to be going to class here now. So it's a mixture of like me coming back from Europe and then also not even living on campus. So it just doesn't feel like LMU is like real to me right now. But it still is nice to be back. Like it's nice to kind of get back into like the LA culture and like see friends that I haven't seen in a while. And also it's nice to like be around people that I went abroad with because we're all like, hey, we're all in Europe together. Like this is kind of weird. You know, we have like this weird bonding experience of like we don't usually. This is such a unique like back and forth right now.